Chapter 11, A Knife in the Dark. Now, in this chapter, of course, it starts off with Frodo's new home in Crickhollow is attacked by the Black Riders. And so the Brandy Bucks start blowing the horn of Buckland, and all of Buckland is like in an uproar over all this. And the Ringers, of course, they do flee. And Tolkien mentions that the horn hadn't been blown since white wolves had invaded the Shire. There was a point in time when there was a really bad winter and the Brandywine froze over and wolves crossed over the Shire and affected the Shire folk. And I do believe Gandalf came to the rescue around this time. I think that's actually when he first came among the hobbits, if I'm remembering correctly. And in the Reader's Companion, it does mention that there was an event similar to this that actually happened in actual history, where the Rhine River had been frozen over, and the Vandals used that to invade the Western Roman Empire. It was about, what did it say? I think it said about the year 406 AD. And of course, in 476, I believe it was, the Roman Empire fell. And then you get the Holy Roman Empire. And so you see Tolkien not only just draws on fairy tales, but on history as well. Of course, his experiences in World War I are definitely in this book. But anyway, their beds at Bree were attacked. The Hobbit's not there, obviously. It was a decoy. Now, in the book, it does not make it clear who it was that attacked them. In the movies, of course, it's the Ringwraiths that come into the inn and destroy their beds, thinking that they're in it. But it could possibly be the men of Bree. There were some that were in league with the Ringwraiths, like Bill Ferny, who probably did it. It's not very clear in the book here who does it. But anyway, all their ponies are gone. They've fled. And so they are able to buy a pony from Bill Ferny, one that he kind of poorly mistreated. But they take him along the journey with them, and he gets fed and begins to look more healthy. And of course, Bill, the pony, is what Sam names him. But anyway, they leave Bree to go on their way to Rivendell, and they go through the Midgewater marshes, and they are attacked, of course, by a type of cricket they hear a type of cricket called the Knickerbreakers, as Tolkien calls them here. It's kind of a cricket that he invented, and of course they're basically attacked by gnats. That's what a midge is a gnat. And then you have that line that you see in the movie where they're like, "Oh, what do these things feed off of when they can't get a hobbit?" In the book, it's Sam that says it. In the movie, of course, they give it to Merry. Now, on their third day out from Bree, they do see in the eastern sky this kind of light flashing. And we do find out at the Council of Elrond what this is Gandalf has escaped from Saruman, and he is now trying to meet up with the hobbits and Strider, and of course he's attacked by the Ringwraiths, and so he fends them off. He's now making his way towards Rivendell. So that's kind of what they see there, and I kind of wish they had put that in the movie, and they don't. But either way. And so they come at last to Weathertop, and everyone tells them that, it was once called, there was a watchtower called Amon Sul, which there was a tower here, and the hill was named Amon Sul, which means Hill of the Wind. And of course, you got the Weather Hills, and they can see all the ruins of old fortresses and stuff there. And you will remember, we saw that in The Hobbit, too. When Bilbo talks about seeing these evil-looking structures, like buildings, old castles and stuff, well, they're ruins is what they are, of castles and stuff that were there. The men of Arnor had fortified these hills in defense against the Witch King of Angmar, who happens to be the leader of the Ringwraiths, of course. And we do learn about the Ringwraiths from Aragorn that they fear fire, and that they can sense the presence of the ring. They can actually smell your blood, and that they can, especially at night, they can see things that you can't see, and so they're very, very dangerous at night. When he's telling them about the Watchtower of Himinsul, that Isildur, well, he mentions that Gil-galad had waited for Isildur, or for Elendil, because I think Isildur was there too. He waited there for them when they were meeting for the last alliance of elves and men. And of course, this tower ends up being destroyed when the Kingdom of Arnor falls. The Kingdom of Arnor, you can kind of compare that, I guess, to the Roman Empire. And of course, it fell, and you have the Holy Roman Empire. That, of course, ends up falling, and Tolkien kind of are looking to the past, to those days. So kind of have a bit of an analogy there with that. But Sam sings part of the lay of Gil-galad, and Aragorn's like, and of course Mordor's mentioned in there, and Pippin's like, I never thought I'd be going to Mordor, really loud. And Aragorn says, I wouldn't mention Mordor while we're out here. I mean, the Ringwraiths are there. Obviously, you don't want the enemy to know that you plan on taking his ring to Mordor and destroying it, which Sauron never figures out until the very last moment. But anyway, they get to Weathertop and everything, like I said, and Aragorn's going to tell them a tale from the Elder Days. And he sings to them a part of the lay of Leithian, which is about Beren and Luthien, and he kind of explains to them, what happens there, but not in full detail. They will learn of that later probably from Elrond and Rivendell. Of course, I don't need to reiterate what was already mentioned in when I was doing my videos in the Silmarillion about that story. If you remember, Beren was immortal, Luthien was the daughter of the King of Elves, and they fell in love, went on this quest to get a Silmaril from the Iron Crown of Morgoth. Both of them eventually die, but then they come back as mortals, and then die basically a second death. So there's that. He does mention that Sauron was only a servant of Morgoth back then. You will remember that, of course, from the Silmarillion. And, of course, at the end of all of this is when the Ringwraiths, well, 5 of them anyway, attack them, and Frodo puts the ring on, which is kind of foolish to do, and he sees the Ringwraiths as what they actually look like. And I can't help but, when I get to that, to see visuals from the movie in my head, but I do think they are supposed to look a little bit different from that. But at least, it used to be in my mind before I saw that scene in the movie. I thought of them as looking something a little different based off the description that's given here in this book. But anyway, Frodo, of course, takes the ring off after he's stabbed, right before he kind of passes out. And so that's where we leave them at the end of this chapter. And of course, the Ringwraith that stabs him is the Witch King of Angmar. And we'll see him a lot in here, especially later in the Return of the King. But anyway, that's where we'll leave it for today. So hopefully tomorrow, or some point this week, I'll get Chapter 12 of Book 1 done and get a video out for that. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this video, and I'll talk to you all later.